The Third Testament, Section 11, Humanity. Chapter 49, Religion and Jurisdiction. No religion or denomination is the only true one. I do not come to arouse religious fanaticism among men. My teaching is very far from teaching false things. I want improvement, faith, charity, spiritualization. Fanaticism is a dark bandage before the eyes, is unhealthy passion, is darkness. Watch that this bad seed does not enter your heart. Remember that fanaticism sometimes has the appearance of love. To understand that this darkness has afflicted mankind in this time. Realize that although the pagan peoples have disappeared from the earth and the majority of mankind professes to worship the true God, men neither know me nor love me, for their wars, their hatred, and their lack of harmony are the proof that they do not yet let me live in their hearts. 3. Above the darkness of this religious fanaticism and idolatry, great whirlwinds are approaching which will purify the spiritual cult of this mankind. When this work will be accomplished, the rainbow of peace will shine in infinity. 83, 60-62. For I have allowed that there are religions on earth which are ways for the spirit to go to God. Every religion that teaches good and love and praises mercy is good because it contains light and truth. When men wither away in them and what was originally good turns into bad, the way is lost under materialism and sin. 5. Therefore, in this time I am showing you again my truth, which is way, essence of life and law, so that you may seek this law, which is lighthouse and guiding star, beyond forms and rites, beyond all human things. Whoever seeks me in this way will be a spiritualist. 197, 10-11. 6. No one will be lost, some will arrive earlier in the way I have shown you, and others later in the ways they follow. 7. In all religions man can accept that teaching which he needs to become good. But if he does not achieve this, he blames the religion to which he professes and remains the one he has always been. 8. All religions are ways, some are more perfect than others, but all aim at good and strive to come to the Father. If there is something about the religions you know that does not satisfy you, do not lose faith in me. Go on the way of neighborly love, and you will find salvation, because my way is illuminated by the power of love. 114, 43. 9 religions are small byways that lead the spirit beings to the true way, on which they can ascend step by step until they come to me. As long as men on earth profess different religions, they are divided. But once they are on the way of love and truth, they will be united, they will become one with that one light, for there is only one truth. 243, 5. 10. The unification of religions will come when the spirit of mankind rises above materialism, traditions, prejudices and fanaticism. Then people will have united spiritually in a single worship service, that of goodness out of love for God and neighbor. When this happens, humanity will enter a period of perfection. 187, 43. 11. The spiritual division of men is due to the fact that some made use of one branch, the tree of divine revelations, and others of another branch. There is only one tree, but its branches are many. But people did not want to understand my teachings in this way, and the disputes separate them and deepen their differences. Everyone believes he has the truth, everyone feels he is right. But I say to you, as long as you taste only the fruit of a single branch and reject that of the rest, you will not come to the realization that all fruits come from the divine tree, the totality of which only represents the complete truth. 12. When I speak to you of these truths, do not think that the Master means the outward cults of the different religions, but the fundamental principle on which each of them is based. 13. A strong storm wind is now making itself felt. Its gusts of wind, as the tree is shaken, cause its various fruits to fall, and they will be tasted by those who had not known them before. 14. Then they will say, how misguided and blind we were when, driven by our fanaticism, we rejected all the fruits that our brothers offered us, just because they were unknown to us. 15. A part of my light is in every group of people, in every community. No one boasts of possessing the whole truth. Understand then, if you want to penetrate further to the core of the eternal, if you want to go further than where you have gone so far, then you must first unite the knowledge of the one with that of the others, and in this way with all the others. Then a clear and very bright light will shine out of this harmony, which you have so far sought in the world without finding it. 16. Love one another. This is my maxim, my highest commandment for men, regardless of creeds or religion. 17. Approach one another by fulfilling this highest commandment, and you will find me present in each of you. 129, 36-41. The hostility of religions to development. 18. To man his human life was more important than his spiritual life, even though he was often aware that the human is transitory and the spiritual is eternal. This is the reason why, although he has made progress in his civilization and science, he has remained spiritually stagnant and sunk into sleep in his religions. 19. Consider one religion after another, and you will see that none of them shows evidence of development, unfolding, or perfection. Each is proclaimed as the supreme truth, but since those who profess it seem to find and recognize everything in it, they make no effort to advance one step. 20. The divine revelations, the law of God, my teaching and my rallies have made you understand from the beginning that man is a being subject to evolution. Why then do none of your denominations confirm and test this truth? 21. I tell you, only that teaching which awakens the spirit, which kindles light in him, which promotes him and reveals to him what he holds within, which lifts him up every time he stumbles and lets him advance without stopping, only this teaching is inspired by truth. But is this not precisely what my teaching has revealed to you at all times? 22. Yet you have long since stopped spiritually because you were more concerned about what concerns your life on earth than about what concerns your spirit. But so as not to completely abandon the spiritual, you have so arranged your religions that they do not in the least disturb you in the performance of your work and duties on earth. 23. When you then follow that religious tradition, you think you are doing justice to God, you seek thereby to appease your conscience and believe to secure your entrance into the kingdom of heaven. 24. What ignorance, mankind! When will you finally awaken to reality? Do you not realize that if you follow your religious customs, you give me nothing and your spirit also goes away empty? 25. When you leave your churches and say, now I have fulfilled my duty to God, you have fallen into a great error because you think you have given me something, although you should know that you cannot give me anything, but you can receive much from me and give much to yourselves. 26. You believe that the fulfillment of the law is limited to visiting those places, and this is another great error. For these places should be the school where the student should learn for later. Being back in everyday life, he should apply the lesson learned in practice, which is the true fulfillment of the law. 265, 22-27. The relationship between religion and science. 27. From the beginning of the ages the messengers of the law and the teaching of the Spirit have had the scientist as their adversary. Great battles have broken out between the two, and the time has come that I tell you something about these disputes. 28. I created this world so that it might serve incarnated spirit beings as a temporary home. But before they would populate it, I provided it with the abilities of spirit, mind and will. 29. I knew in advance the fate and development of my creatures. I put into the earth, its interior, its surface and its atmosphere, all the necessary elements for the preservation, the maintenance, the development and also the refreshment of the human being. But so that man could discover the secrets of nature as the source of life, I allowed his intelligence to awaken. 30. Thus were revealed to man the beginnings of science, which you are all capable of, although there have always been men of greater ability, whose mission was to wrest from nature the secret of its powers and elements for the good and joy of mankind. 31. I have also sent great spirits to earth so that they would reveal to you the supernatural life, that which is above this nature, beyond science. Through these revelations the existence of a universal, strong, creative, omnipotent and omnipresent being was foretold, which holds ready for man a life after his death, the eternal life of the Spirit. 32. But since some brought spiritual missions and others scientific missions, some and others, religions and science, have at all times stood up against each other as enemies in battle. 33. Today I tell you that matter and spirit are not opposing forces. There should be harmony between the two. Light are my spiritual revelations, and light are also the revelations and discoveries of science. But if you have heard from me that I often object to the work of scientists, it is because many of them have misused the energy, the previously unknown elements and forces of nature for the corrupting purposes of destruction, hostilities, hatred and revenge, earthly domination and excessive striving for power. 34. I can tell you that with those who have carried out their mission with love and good intentions, with those who have respectfully and humbly penetrated my secret treasuries, it has given me joy to reveal to them great secrets for the benefit of my daughter, mankind. 35. Science has caused mankind, since the world's beginning, to take the path of material progress, by which, at every turn, man has found the fruits of science, some sweet and some bitter. 36. Now is the time when you must understand that all light belongs to my Spirit, that all that is life comes from my divinity, because I am the secret treasury, the primordial source and the origin of all creation. 37. Those struggles of the spiritual against the scientific will disappear from the lives of men to the degree that the spiritual will be united with science in a single light that illuminates the path of man to infinity. 233, 25-34. The harshness and injustice of earthly justice. 38. I come to overturn your erroneous laws, that only those may rule over you who are formed by my commandments and are in accord with my wisdom. My laws are shaped by love, and since they come from my divinity, they are immutable and eternal, while yours are transitory and at times cruel and selfish. 39. The Father's law consists of love, of goodness. It is like a balm that gives comfort and raises up the sinner so that he may bear the reparation of his transgressions. The law of the Father's love always offers the transgressor a generous opportunity for moral renewal, while your laws, on the contrary, humiliate and chastise the transgressor and often the innocent and weak. 40. In your jurisdiction there is harshness, revenge, and lack of mercy. The law of Christ is of loving conviction, infinite righteousness, and supreme straightforwardness. You yourselves are your judges. I, on the other hand, am your tireless defender, but you must know that there are two ways of paying for your wrongs, one with love and one with pain. 41. Choose for yourselves, you still enjoy the gift of freedom of will. 17, 46-48. 42. I am the divine judge, who never gives a more severe judgment than the transgression is. How many of those who accuse themselves before me I find pure? How many, on the other hand, trumpet their purity, and I find them corrupt and guilty? 43. How unjust is human judgment! How many victims of bad judges atone for foreign crimes! How many innocent people have seen the bars of the prison closed before their eyes, while the guilty man walks freely, invisibly carrying his burden of thefts and crimes. 135, 2-3. 44. Because human justice is imperfect, your prisons are full of victims, and the places of execution have been stained with the blood of the innocent. Alas! How many criminals I see enjoying freedom and respect in the world, and how many corrupt ones have you erected monuments to honor their memory? 45. If you could see these beings, when they then live in the spiritual world and the light comes up in their spirits, instead of nonsensical and useless homage, you would send them a prayer to comfort them in their heavy repentance. 159, 44-45. The hard-hearted self-righteousness of man. 46. Let love be your guide, so that you may become true ambassadors of the divine Comforter. For you who have fallen into no abyss are always quickly at hand to accuse, to judge. You condemn your neighbor without the slightest compassion, and that is not my teaching. 47. If, before you judge, you would examine yourselves and your faults, I assure you, your judgment would be more compassionate. You consider those in prisons to be bad, and you consider those in hospitals to be wretched. You keep away from them without realizing that they are worthy to enter the kingdom of my love. You do not want to think that they too have the right to receive the rays of the sun, which were created to give life and warmth to all creatures without any exception. 48. Those who are locked up in places of atonement are often mirrors in which men do not want to see themselves, because they know that the image that mirror reveals to them will in many cases be that of an accusation. 149. 51-53. Earthly justice as a necessary evil. 49. The justice that exists on earth still shows no righteous works. I can see lack of mercy, lack of understanding and hardness of heart. But everyone will still receive his perfect judgment. 50. I have allowed these trials, and as long as man does not fulfill my laws, as long as he turns away from obeying their commandments, there will be someone on earth who bends his heart, who violates it. 51. If you would keep the law, there would be no need for judges in the world. If there were no punishment, you would have no need for governments. Everyone would determine his own actions, and all would be ruled by me. You would all be inspired by my laws, and your actions would always be charitable, aiming at spiritualization and love. 52. But mankind has fallen into deep abysses, Immorality, vice, sin has taken possession of the heart of men, and these are the consequences. You must drink bitter goblets, you must suffer humiliation by those men who, although they are your brothers, exercise power on earth. 53 But be humble, bear the judgments with patience, remember that I am the perfect judge. 341,53